Hi, Digital Design 3 class. Okay, now we're at the nitty gritty where we're actually going to be animating our characters through timeline. I've already showed you how you can add shots using Cinemachine, but in this one I'm showing you again both. One for the character and then one for the shots to remind you how you can add shots to follow your character or change up your shots again using timeline. Okay, you can see I already have a timeline open. This is one I did this morning for you so that I could have a demo, and I have a couple of them because this is the one I did yesterday for you. So I'm going to go ahead and play it so you can see what I've done with this animation. So I'll play it. Okay, it's not perfect because it was put together quite quickly. So there's a few things I could adjust, right? Like his position sinking down into the ground and the timing of the runs and things like this. This is things that you can do as you're going along. Um, if I had had more than, say, an hour to create this, I would have actually made it perfect for you. We'll try and do that for the demo itself. But let's look down here in my timeline, just so that you can kind of see how I've done it. So I have two animations on this character named Jones. One has the animations that I've imported, okay? And the other one is a one that I recorded while inside of this scene. Now, if I mute this one here, you can see that my character is just moving. There's a bit of a jump for him in the beginning and off the ground. That's what I was talking about. That needs to be adjusted. But basically, this is only the path that my character is taking. Okay. Now, if I unmute this and mute the other one, where's my mute? Unmute, here we go. So this is just going to be the animations themselves that I have downloaded from Mixamo. And you can see that all these will happen in strange locations. Let me go back here. In strange locations because it's not being guided by the second animation path that I animated. So you have to consider doing both together to make your character go in the right direction. And he's just repeating his loop because right here this is a looping animation. Okay, and then his breakdance wherever he is now. I don't know where he is. There this guy is, Jones. And doing his breakdance here. Okay, so these have to work in tandem, these two animations, to get your character to actually go where you need them to go. So if I unmute this one again, you can see my character is now back in the correct position. So in order to do this, I'm going to actually add my other character, Eli, and I'm going to have him maybe running through the background. Maybe I'll start him here and have him run across here while this character is running. So while he's crouching and standing up and starting to run like this, I might have Eli run through here. So let me go ahead and set up Eli first because we have to do several animations with him. It's the exact same way you would a timeline from before when I sent it to you before. I'll go through it again really quickly. I created empties here to separate all my environment and everything here. Then I have my characters. I actually have quite a few characters in here that I've animated at this point. I need to drag and drop my Eli character into here, okay? And since I'm using the same Jones timeline, or I can create a new timeline and they can work in tandem. But I prefer working all on the same timeline because then I get the timing, better for myself, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead first. I need to drag and drop from my project window. I need to go to my characters and drag Eli here into my character section, okay? Let's see where he is in my scene right now. So he is far from where I want him. I want him over there hiding behind the pole. So I'm going to place him over there first. That's the first thing I'm going to do. At least he's standing on the ground. Poor Jones is floating in the air. It's probably because when I moved him, I touched his, is he standing on the ground? Yeah, he is. Okay, I'm going to bring him up behind that first pole because I'm going to have him run across here. This is where I want him to start. And I'm going to have to rotate him around. So you kind of want to know where you're going to start your character and exactly what direction they're facing. So right here, I'm going to rotate Eli, and he's going to be running in a kind of angle behind this character here. Okay. From my first shot in my timeline, let me go back here to my timeline. I can still see him here, so I don't want to really see him. I want to hide him from behind the pole a little bit from my first shot. Move him forward. Let's go back to my timeline so I can see my first shot. Okay, let's bring him back slightly. Oh, he's pretty close to being hidden. I think it's hidden enough because I'm going to have him start running just after the crouch because my character gets up from a crouch here, and I'm going to have Eli run from here. So what I need to do first is I need to write down his position right here. And I would write it down because we need to fill it in another place. I'm also going to go ahead and copy position because I need also to fill that in. So I'm going to put that he's at 21 and negative 10. Let me put him at 21. It makes it easier for me to remember. And negative 10. Okay, so 21 and negative 10. And let me recopy his position here because I'm going to have to paste this into his animation. You can see when we click on Eli that he's got his own avatar here. It's perfect. We need that. We don't need a controller, animator controller, because we're not using animations through the animator. We're using it through the timeline. Now let's go back to our master timeline and let's lock it here to keep this open. Okay, and right here, I'm going to add an animation track, and I'm going to drag Eli into the slot because we're animating Eli. Okay, and right here, I'm going to put in his run, so you can see like I put in first his run, and then I put in his path track. So let's go ahead and put in his run. We do this by right-clicking on here and saying add from animation clip. And here we're looking for Eli fast run. Here it is. And we can put Eli fast run in here. Now, you can see Eli disappeared from here. That's because the animation position brought in its own position. And what we need to change this back to is 21 and negative 10 here. And you can see he's here. However, we're going to need to rotate him. And let's remember that position too. We want him to be running this direction. So here on the Y, I'm going to copy this. And when I go back to my animation here on the Y, oh no, he's still there, so that's okay. I just want to make sure that in the animation he's running the correct direction. Okay. All right, so I'm going to slide this over here to the beginning. And I also want to make sure that after the end of this animation, which is only this long, oh, you can see that's wrong there, so we have to put in the Y on his rotation for sure. I need to go back to Eli. Let's say he's at -145. That'll work for us here. So let's do his rotation, -145. Okay, so now he's running the right direction. Okay, if I use my scrubber, I can see that he stops running right here after the first 1, 2 steps. That's just how long his animation runs. Now, the reason that we have that there is because under animation extrapolation, we can say, what do we want to have it do after it runs through one complete cycle of the animation? We actually want it to loop so that it will continue the whole time that it's on. Okay, so we already have this animation set up. This is great. This is exactly what we want. We now need to add his path. So we're going to add another animation track here. And I'm going to drag Eli into this track as well. Okay, and from here, we're actually going to record his path this time inside of our scene. And it's just like how we did the cube. Very simple. Right? So I'm going to click the record button, and I need to actually move him just one frame or one little position here just to get a keyframe for his start position. So I can actually just jiggle him a little bit, and that will add a keyframe down here in my animation where it's recording. Okay, now I'm going to advance the playhead because he's running fairly quickly. I'm going to advance it to where I want it to be as he runs. And I'm going to put it, because this character will be out of camera probably, we want to have it here be about like 9 or something, because we might still see him in the distance. Let's see. I can do it one step at a time, but I think what I want to do is let's do it just part of the way for this first shot. So from here across, let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to move him where I want him to be when this keyframe happens. So I am going to go ahead and move him here. I'm going to delete this keyframe later, actually. So I kind of want to bring him. That's not where I want him. I want him back here. Let's reset him. And bring him this way. Let's see, I got to get at a better angle so I can see this. And bring him this way. Okay, let's see how that looks so far. Looks pretty good. So wherever I stop moving him is where that keyframe happens right there. Okay, so now I want to keep him running about that much every time. So I'm going to advance my playhead again to like here, because I'm going to create another keyframe. I can see over here in my camera view at this point where my other character is. He'll probably be out of the shot, but I still want to put him at the angle that he's running at. So I need to move him over here and move him over here. I gotta slide him up a little bit because we want to have him keep running in the distance. So let's see now how that looks. Yeah, we can see him running in the background here. This is looking good so far. And he runs out of frame up to our second keyframe. But of course, in this further distance one, we're still going to see him, so we need to complete his run. So I'm going to move it forward some more. And I'm going to bring him out to keep running across this plane. I will move him this direction and this direction so that he's quite in the distance. Let's see how we do here. So we can see him still running as the camera turns. Let's see how we're doing here. He runs out of frame. Good. And the camera swings back around after the kick. And we still see him moving, getting smaller in the distance. That's pretty good. We want to move him even a little further from his last keyframe, which was here. You can see from here. So we want to go back and move him even more because we still see him just a little bit, and I want to keep him running. So let's rotate him slightly and then move him across the plane here. Oh, we don't want him to move yet. Sorry, we just rotate him, advance the playhead, and move him maybe to the other side of the pole. Let's see if he pops out. There he is. From there. Okay, and you can see another keyframe was added. So now all I have left is to have him kind of run off the screen for this last part. Let's go back here. And continue moving him off in the distance while our other character does his breakdance. Okay, so we have, you can see him running in the background still. And it's looking good. He kind of pauses there and changes direction right here. I've got something kind of weird going on there, but that's okay. I think it's just because he's changing his angle. All right, that looks very good. So now I can stop recording, and I have both his run and his path along through the after the recording of my first main character. So always in my main character, what I did is I first, just like Eli, I added his recording here first, his crouch to stand, okay? And then I advanced the playhead to the end of this. Let's look at my main character for a minute. Let's go back here so you can see. My computer's a little overwhelmed and running a little bit slow. Okay, so after he stands up here, that's when I wanted to start him on his path. So I had him standing still when I recorded here until here. And then I started him along his path from here, as you can see in my main camera, up until he does his kick. And let's move the camera that direction so you can see it. My scene view. Okay, and this is where he does his kick, so I had him holding still on his path. I didn't have him moving. So I built this up one by one. You can always add more recording to the ones that you're recording along the way. So I can turn it off and then add and adjust something. So for example, his little jump here, this is kind of weird. So I can actually adjust that in my recording now by clicking on my character here and putting him back down on the ground here. So let's see if we can get him down on the ground through this whole thing. And if not, there's the curves way that you can adjust it as well. I stop recording, and that should have helped with that little weird hop he had. Oh, still there. If you want to go deep into this, you can go to properties here and adjust it through the curves. Remember, I told you the curves track here. We can go to curves, and you can see right here, this is where his hop happened, because this is my Y position, which is the ground position. You can tell by the green button here. And I can actually bring this keyframe down here. Let me scroll in a little. I can bring this one up because he was down below the ground, and bring these down too, so that he's actually flat on the ground. Okay, you can see where he's up in the air, where he's bounced up in the air. Here's another one where he's up in the air. That might be part of the kick. Let's advance this playhead to see. Nope, he did another little hop there. So let's bring this keyframe back down here. And you can see that that adjusted pretty much his hop. I can make it smooth by grabbing these handles and adjusting it this way. All these are a little bit high, so he's just slightly above the ground there. Now is his running. That little pop is from the transition between his two animations. Let's continue down here and see if I have him above the ground any other place. So this is your curves editor. Remember, it's down here next to your dope sheet. Here also, let's see what's going on here. He sinks into the ground a little here. We can actually bring him up, especially make it smoother. Oh, we don't want to do that. We want to bring the whole keyframe up. And you can see that that has brought him up to the surface more. This is if I wanted him over the surface, if I wanted him on the surface, right? So you can adjust each of these keyframes just by clicking on them and dragging them. So if you don't really remember what they do, this is a directional one. You can move it and see what happens. Let's put it there, the scrubber there. So this is just his forward momentum, and we can make it more smooth here. Ease his forward momentum in. That's okay. And I'm gonna bring this down a little because he's way above the ground. I don't really like it. Okay, let's bring this back here. So you can adjust and fine tune all these by use of these keyframes. Here he's on the ground, here he's okay. He could actually go down just a little bit. He's not quite fully standing. Oh, there we go. He is standing there now. And we can adjust this. If you don't want to have an adjustment with two handles, you can actually right click on it and you can break them. So if I break them, then this one will move independently. And you can see this here, and you can adjust it broken, or you can do just the left tangent. You can create a linear. I'll show you what that does. It automatically creates a line here. You can play around with all these different settings. I know that we don't have a lot of time, but go ahead and, if you have the time, go ahead and enjoy like playing around with this fine detail. If you don't have the time, okay, because we only have 2 weeks left, but please feel free to play around with fine-tuning your animation here through the curves or the dope sheet. The dope sheet just shows you your keys, right? Your keyframes. You can always take your keyframes, like if your animation's too short, you can select them all. You can move them. I explained this in the last video, but I just want to make sure that you understand this fully. I'll go back to my timeline here. And now you can see his animation hopefully will be running a little smoother. He's not hopping. Okay. Does his breakdance. Great. So now if I play this whole thing through, I have all these characters aligned and running. And then I'll go over the Cinemachine shots just one more time, even though I did it in the previous video. Okay, his timing's off a little. You can see him sliding. I could have made it a little faster, but that's okay. It's good for now. Okay, so let's talk about Cinemachine a little bit. I have my camera shot list here, and if in the last video, if you remember to line up a camera shot, first I created the camera, going to Cinemachine camera. I'll do another shot here for you. And I called it CMV, Cinemachine virtual camera. Let's say this is shot 6. And we can always do this one way at the very end, showing the other guy running off, for example, in the background. We can just cut to that. So let's see where we are here. There's our character Jones. There's our character Eli. And we'll have him run out of frame, run into frame and run out of frame here. So let's see, he would be running out of frame. So let's light up our camera a little bit for this shot. I want him to be out of the frame and running through my frame. So this is going to be my frame set here. And I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, align camera 6 to my shot by Command Shift F or Control Shift F on a PC. And now my last camera shot is lined up here. I'm going to drag and drop it down into here, slide it up, and because I'm not going to have a transition, I'll just do a quick cut to that and have him running across. I'm going to make it kind of short. And I will also need to continue to record Eli's path here, because it just like this is kind of boring. We just see the beginning of Eli poking into the frame there over on the right. You see it? But we actually want him to run through the frame to the other side. So our camera is going to hold still. Let me slide this up here. So we just see him here. And from here, I need to then record Eli's movements. Let's go back here. I'm going to pull out slightly so we can see Eli. And I'm going to hit record for Eli. I already have his last position, so I can go ahead and move him. I have to click on Eli, select him, and I'm going to go ahead and move him through the frame. After I advance my playhead to here, I'm going to have him just, can't grab my handle. I'm going to move him all the way through. But I also see a problem here that I want him to be rotated the other direction. So I need to rotate him. I want him to be running like that through my frame. I'm going to keep moving him out of the frame. Okay, now I stopped record and he should be running through my shot. Okay, great. So now I've added that shot here. Make sure it's all the way up against here. And I have Eli running continuously. So now you can see how easy it is to just add elements to your timeline and animate them. So when I get done here, you can see here, okay, he gets finished with his dance and we cut to Eli running away. All right. I hope this video was very useful for you for your cutscene. You can create your entire cutscene here. And don't forget, add some music. If you don't remember how to add music, I'll tell you really quickly. You add an empty, and I would call it music. Okay. And on your music, you just need to add an audio source. You need to look for audio source. Okay. And just drag in your audio clip here. Okay. If you have a bunch of different audio sources, that's fine. But this is one that you would use for overall music. You can attach them to game objects. So I can attach an audio source to my character. If I have a fire noise, to a fire that he runs by, because the camera is where it's listening. On our camera is our audio listener. So you have it here, audio listener. So wherever your camera is, it's going to hear it. You can also change it and put it on your player if you think that's better, but I feel like it's always better to have on the camera because the camera will always be close to your main character. So if your main character is running by something that you want to hear, like a fire crackling or something, you can certainly add another audio source to something else. If you just do it on an empty, it will be in the entire scene. Okay, I hope this was very useful, and I'm looking forward to seeing your cutscenes. Good luck this week.